right, well, thanks again for all of you that are joining us today for our second live webinar. My name is Jasmine. I am the marketing director here at SoftwareMedia.com and Total Cloud IT. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time today, a little bit about Software Media. We are one of the #1 software resellers and Microsoft Gold partner. We've been doing this for about over 20 years. And we're really excited. We have a new cloud services platform, Total Cloud IT. And this is to help our clients identify their business outcomes by building secure and compliant environments. So we're excited about that. So today, as most of you know, we're going to be looking at Microsoft SharePoint and OneDrive for Business. And this will be presented by John No, who is our technical sales engineer and a Microsoft certified professional. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to you, John.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jasmine. As Jasmine mentioned, for those of you attending over a web browser or over Microsoft Teams, on the top right, you'll see the little chat boxes with a question mark in them. You can submit questions that way, and at the end of the webinar, Jasmine and I will address those questions. So thank you very much for all who are attending, and we've got a great subject today, Microsoft SharePoint Online and OneDrive for Business. So we'll have a good demo today to show you guys exactly how SharePoint Online and OneDrive for Business drive very good business value and enable you to collaborate far more effectively in the future, especially as our world is moving more into remote work and making sure that everyone has good content and can collaborate dynamically online through Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. So to start, we'll go over the key functionality differences between OneDrive for Business and SharePoint Online. It can be a bit of a point of confusion. So before we dive right into the demo, we'll just discuss this. So OneDrive for Business is backed by Microsoft SharePoint Online. However, it is a container individual to yourself. You store your own files in there, things that are for your own job responsibilities, things that you don't really typically share. For example, a quote that you build out for someone doesn't necessarily need to be accessible by an entire team. If you're a single individual on a sales team or on a sales task, you can create and put them into your OneDrive and then share them from your OneDrive with your end client. So all the files in your OneDrive are viewable by you, shareable to others, but not viewable by others without direct access. And it can be synced to your Windows File Explorer. So on your desktop itself, you can have your OneDrive synced and not having to navigate through the web portal. You can access all of your OneDrive files. SharePoint is what backs OneDrive. However, it is where big document libraries on SharePoint team sites live. So files that live within SharePoint team sites are accessible by all the members of that team site. It is still owned by individuals, and those individuals can manage the sharing permissions of those individual files within the document library. But all members of a team at least have viewable access to files within a document team site. And this will become clearer as we go through the demo. Collaboration sites are sites which are designed to be very easy to build. Anyone with no web development experience can put together very dynamic, very powerful websites to deliver contextualized information to their teams. For example, sales engines can use SharePoint Lists to determine what stage a lead is in the sales cycle. And again, the demo will contextualize this. It is the central point of storage for all files, events, news, and more. For all of the teams in your business and for business units as well. So you can create them for an individual team, an individual project, or for entire departments or the business as a whole. So with that said, we'll jump into the actual demo where a lot of this information will be contextualized and useful to you. So I'm going to switch to the demo presentation. Give me one moment to get set up. All right, so the demo name of it is Modernizing Productivity. And we'll go through how OneDrive and SharePoint can enable you to smooth out your day-to-day productivity without having to implement multiple line of business applications that otherwise would require more resources in terms of compute or money from from cost to your business. So starting off here, the demo account we are using, the user's name is Megan Bowen. The company is named Contoso Electronics. And this is a demo on how they utilize OneDrive for Business, SharePoint, and Microsoft Teams to enable better collaboration between files for both Megan herself and for her team. So here on this screen, we are looking at OneDrive proper. So this is Megan's personal OneDrive. All of the folders here and files belong to her, as you can see. And you can see that on here, let me get a laser pointer and point it out. You obviously can see the name of each file, when it was last modified, who was the last person to modify it. This is Megan's personal OneDrive. So of course, she's the last person that modified it. What size the files are, and then sharing. This is the important column. Whether or not you have shared an individual file to another person or organization, it will show you here. So on the left side, we do see Megan's files. Her recent files, you can click recent, and she would see only the files that she has recently interacted with. Under shared, anything that she has shared with other individuals, or anything that has been shared to her from other individuals' OneDrive for Business accounts show up under share. Down here where it says Contoso, Contoso is obviously the organization itself. Each of these squares is a SharePoint site that Megan is a member of or has access to. So we'll go ahead and move ahead by clicking on More Sites. Here on More Sites, you can see all the sites that from SharePoint that Megan is a member of or is following and has access to. So sites that she frequently works with will show up first, and then anything else that she works with commonly as well, but does not access on the day-to-day, she can follow those sites and they will show up both on her left bar within this pane on office.com and this pane itself. So we'll go ahead and move forward by clicking Strategy and Planning, and then Media Library. Here is where SharePoint becomes very powerful. The same set of consistent features is prevalent between Microsoft Teams, OneDrive for Business, and SharePoint Online. So again, you can see your file names, how long ago it was modified by, how long ago it was modified, and who it was modified by. You can see there is not a sharing column in this view. That is because anyone who is a member of Strategy and Planning, the SharePoint site, will have access to all of the content here. And then, of course, you can modify your view. So this site has quite a few files, so Megan can go ahead and switch her view to compact, so she can scroll through a more dense list, or she can switch it to tiles. This allows her to actually see what the content of the file is in a bit of a preview on this view. So when we were just looking at a list, well, we could tell it's an Excel file or a Word file, but what is actually in that content, or what is the content within that file? This allows you to, this allows Megan to see what the contents of those files are and what may matter to her more. So clicking back to Megan's SharePoint or personal OneDrive for Business, OneDrive supports over 300 file types. So without ever leaving the interface, you can go ahead and open and view documents. For example, we've got Adobe files, videos, and even 3D files. For example, this drone model, we can click on it. And Megan can go ahead and click through the model, view it, manipulate it, and work with it directly from OneDrive, never leaving the experience of her OneDrive for Business profile. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. And then this is where SharePoint and OneDrive for Business really becomes powerful, is in the file collaboration. So Megan has this annual report that she collaborates with other individuals on. She can create a comment and mention other people in the organization. For example, she's going to mention Alex and say, hey, Alex, please go ahead and review this document. As soon as she sends that comment, Alex gets a notification that says, hey, someone has commented on a file that you worked on. Alex can come in, look it over, and respond directly to that comment, and allowing the conversation to flow through the life cycle of the document and not having to have multiple copies of the document float around in the organization. For example, Alex does not have a separate copy of this document. He and Megan are looking at the same exact document, and they can co-author together as well. If Alex were to open this file, he would get a separate cursor, Megan would get a separate cursor, and they can modify separate parts of the document at the same time. From within SharePoint and within OneDrive for Business, you can share files, and you can share them externally as well. So if we were to want to share this annual report, we'll go ahead and click on it and get the check mark. We'll hit share, and we're going to share this with other people. So here are your options to share. You can share anyone with the link. People do not have to sign in. People within Contoso, so anyone within your own organization, people with existing access, or specific people. Specific people you can share externally, type in their email address, but they have to authenticate against Microsoft to open the file. So we will be sharing with anyone with a link, but what we want to make sure is that people can't download that file. So we'll go ahead and turn off allow editing and block download. We'll hit apply, and this generates a link for us to go ahead and share. We'll hit copy. And now if we open Microsoft Edge and paste that link in, you can see the file is open. We did not have to authenticate, but notice on the top it says you do not have permission to download or print this file. So now I can highlight the content, but I can't right click and copy it. So this is where it becomes very powerful for you to migrate your content into OneDrive for Business or SharePoint Online. You can protect your organization's data, share it as much as you need to, and revoke that sharing at any point, but also protect the content of that file by not allowing others to actually copy, save, or download any of that. So, and then again, this is only this same file that we're looking at through this link is the same file that we were just collaborating with Alex on a moment ago. Coming back to her OneDrive for Business, we're going to click on the retail promotion site, or the tab up here that takes us to the retail SharePoint site. So this is where we're going to dive into SharePoint Online's very powerful document lists capability and how it can enable you to add features and functionality to your organization that typically you'd have to purchase another line of business application to buy. So we'll go ahead and click on retail accounts, and this is a SharePoint list. So these are all of the accounts that Megan is interested in and wants to make accessible to her retail team. She has built out all of these columns just like you would in an Excel sheet, but this is accessible directly from SharePoint Online without having to build out separate sheets of Excel and build all the macros. She's filled in all the content, she's arranged it, she can move the content as much as she needs to arrange it in a manner where the most important information, of course, is displayed first. Scrolling to the far right, we can add columns. So we'll go ahead and add a choice column and set the name to customer status. And then we'll replace the choices with yes, no, on hold, whether it's been sent to the customer or not. And then we can even enable people to add values to this choice if that is such a necessary feature that you need. So we'll go ahead and hit yes. We can click on this column and edit the column settings. We format the column and add colors. Similarly to how Display Ready and Customer Ready has colors, we can now modify the colors of these. So yes can be green, no would be red, on hold yellow, and sent to customer is blue. We'll hit apply, and now you can see, quickly taking a glance, we can see 2 customers are ready to go, 2 are not, 3 are on hold, and 2 are sent to customer and good to go. clicking all items, we can click into a customized view. And this view is something that Megan has built to only display the pertinent information from the list. So just at a glance, we can take a look and see there's 4 customers with display ready and 2 without, what the sales target is, and even the location of the client is put into a Bing Street View map. So we'll go, and based on the display ready status, we can build a flow to go ahead and send out a email to alert individuals, hey, Adele Vance is ready for her display for this coming sales season. We'll go ahead and click home, and then we'll add another page. And here we can see how easy it is to add a SharePoint communication site page to a site that's already existing. So we'll go ahead and modify this image, upload an image from Megan's computer. We'll select leaves, it's fall in this demo. Add the image, and then we'll name the page Retail Display Kickoff. And then we'll add a section, the 1/3 right. So we will add here some text. And notice how similar to Word, to Excel, we get all these formatting options. As we're typing, we can go ahead and change this to a style heading 1 and then make it bold. And then adding a little bit of visual pop to the page, Megan goes ahead and adds images. We'll go ahead and select carousel, and then we'll hit add images. And again, we'll upload files from her computer that match the theme of this page. Hit OK. And just like that, we have an image carousel on this page without any code whatsoever. Next, we'll add another column underneath this. And here, we'll search for a list from SharePoint. We'll select the retail accounts list that we just built. We'll edit the view, and we'll change the view to customized. And just like that, we've built a SharePoint site with some header text, a couple images, and integrated a SharePoint list directly into it. We've already published the site. And now going into Teams, we can see that retail is a SharePoint Teams site. All the files that are within that Teams site per channel are accessible via the Files tab. And then the Retail Display Kickoff site that we just built can be integrated into Teams directly. So people don't even have to navigate to the SharePoint site to access it. You can access SharePoint communication sites, SharePoint document libraries, all directly from within Teams. And it's as easy as hitting the plus button, selecting SharePoint, lists, and retail accounts, save. So here, the same retail accounts list page that we were looking at earlier is now viewable directly from within Teams. And we can change this as well to the customized view. So just like that, anyone who is a member of the retail team can go ahead and just pop over to the retail accounts page and immediately say, see which accounts are ready and which accounts are not ready and need more work or follow-up. And of course, users can also change their view as well. Going to the News tab, you can see here the news page of that SharePoint site that we were looking at earlier is also added to this team. So all SharePoint content that exists within SharePoint is accessible within Teams, within the online page, or from mobile as well, which we'll go through next. So what's the power of Office 365 if you can't take it mobile and work from anywhere? So on a mobile device, you can go ahead and open Outlook. You can create new email, and let's email Alex again. We'll attach a file directly from our OneDrive. So here you can see you can add a OneDrive account, add a Dropbox account, or Google Drive. And of course, since we are logged in with Office 365, you can see Megan's recent files show up here, and Megan's OneDrive for business file shows up below. We'll click See All. And here you can see all of the files that we were looking at. So the drones, an Adobe Illustrator file, this covered concept art. That's what we're going to share with Alex. So we'll go ahead and click that and insert the link. So you can see here that we didn't attach a file. We're sharing a link to a file within Megan's OneDrive. So that file doesn't get duplicated. Alex isn't working on a separate copy of that file. Any changes that Alex makes to this Adobe Illustrator file saves to Megan's OneDrive. So you don't have to worry about versioning. You don't have to worry about, is this file backed up? Who has the most recent copy? Everyone has the most recent copy that has access to the copy that lives within Megan's OneDrive. And of course, if this were being shared from a SharePoint document library or a SharePoint site, same concept applies. It's shared as a link, and then any modifications made to it automatically saves to that SharePoint site. There's not multiple copies of that file floating around. So we'll go ahead and hit home, return to the home screen, and open SharePoint on mobile. So here we see the same feature of frequent sites and then people that we collaborate with. And so clicking more sites, we can see Megan has access to retail, Northwest Manufacturing, work at Contoso. We can see the sites that we follow. So work at Contoso, executive corner. Similarly to the website, we've got these different tabs that show us our frequent sites, our following sites, and even if there are any sites that are public, it will be suggested to Megan, hey, based on your workflow, knowing who you work with and what projects you work on, we suggest that you follow these sites or access these sites. For example, you can see 3 of these here are already followed, but Leadership Connection is something that Megan has modified content within, but does not follow. So it's suggesting, hey, Leadership Connection seems to be something that you're interested in. We'll go ahead and click the retail group. And here, the same news site that we were seeing on the SharePoint site in the browser, within Teams and on mobile, show up. So we can go ahead and hit the hamburger menu, click Retail Accounts. And again, Retail Accounts, that SharePoint list site that we were looking at earlier, shows up here. And you can change, again, the view. This view, of course, is the customized view that has the information ready to consume immediately. So we'll go ahead and close out of here and hit back. And we'll tap. Oh, one moment. Got ahead of myself here. There we go. There's a news icon on the bottom left here. We'll click on news, and this takes us to the SharePoint news content that is for the entire organization. So if you have newsletters that you frequently send out to all employees, instead of sending them out as massive emails, you can publish them as blog-esque articles from within SharePoint. And anyone with SharePoint access can access all of those articles. So we'll go ahead and click on the 3 steps to improve new user experience. And all of the content that is available to the organization, all of the content that lives within OneDrive, within SharePoint, is accessible from mobile, laptop, and all other devices. So this can be an iPad, this can be a Surface Go tablet, it can be a Galaxy S10, any device that has an app store by Google or Apple. You have complete access securely to your organization's information. So that's the end of this demo. However, I would like to pull up the actual demo tenant here and show you the capabilities you have of constraining access to the data that is contained within OneDrive and SharePoint Online. So we can go to protection.office.com, and this again is Megan, or this again is the demo tenant in which Megan accounts exist. And we can create data loss prevention policies against content within OneDrive. Here you can see we're protecting against US financial data and then GDPR as well. Records management and information governance, you can set up retention policies here so that any policy that any content within OneDrive or SharePoint that you do not want deleted, users can delete the file from their OneDrive. However, Office 365 will retain that information for however long you set the policy to restrain that content. Threat management. Under threat management, the anti-malware and anti-phishing applies to SharePoint content. So if someone saves an attachment to their OneDrive or SharePoint, Microsoft's ATP will scan and monitor OneDrive and SharePoint Online to ensure that no malware or malicious content is allowed into your organization. I just switched my taskbar to this screen so that I can go ahead and show the feature here. So when you have OneDrive for Business synced with your desktop itself, you can see here down on the bottom left, I have OneDrive Software Media. There are two very important features that are worth knowing. One of those features is OneDrive Backup. So you can have your desktop documents and pictures libraries backed up to your OneDrive. So anything within File Explorer, allow me to open it here. Anything that is within your profile under desktop, documents, and pictures, that all instead syncs to your OneDrive. So here we can see OneDrive SoftwareMedia.com. I have my desktop, my documents, and my pictures all saved here. So you no longer have to worry about backing up your files on your user's profile. That is automatically done for you by OneDrive for Business. Well, not automatically done for you, rather, but when you turn on Manage Folder Backup, those files are synchronized with your OneDrive for Business account. So here, I can go to my Office, go to OneDrive, and my OneDrive for Business content shows up: desktop, documents, pictures. So anything I have within documents on my computer, I can access on OneDrive for Business. And likewise on my phone, I can open OneDrive for Business, sign in with my Software Media account, and have all of this content available to me. The other very important feature is Files on Demand right here, this last checkbox. So what this allows me to do is, let's say I go to my documents, you can see these green check marks. If I don't commonly use these files, I can just say free up space. I can right click the files, hit free up space, and you can see they're all switching to synchronize, and now there's a little blue and white cloud. What this means is that I do not have this file on my computer. It is instead only online, and for me to open it, it needs to download it. So for example, this text file with a script that I've written in PowerShell, if I double click that, you saw that it had to sync real quick and switch to a check mark to download the file, make it locally available, and then you can open the file. So what this means is that you can of course save a lot of space. You do not need massive hard drives in your computer. If you work with a lot of files and documents, every user has a solid terabyte of OneDrive for Business storage. On most Office 365 plans, going up to Microsoft 365 Enterprise plans, every user can be assigned 5 terabytes of file storage. So again, I can just right click this, free up space. Or if I want to make sure something is always available to me, then I can go ahead and select a couple of these files. Let's say these are important to me, and just say always keep on this device. It synchronizes, and I've got a blue check, green check mark. Any questions so far, Jasmine?
We have one question. Can I see who I shared a file with in this view?
Oh, in this view, I believe you're asking about the actual Windows Explorer. You can see here that I can see that this has been shared, though I do not know who it has been shared with. So let me select, nope. So traditional Win32 properties of a file won't show you who it's been shared with. How you look at that is you go through OneDrive, or you can open it. You can hit View Online here. This will take you to that. And this is just an Azure estimate that I put together. And here you can share the link, or you can manage access. So clicking the 3 dots on the Share Link screen will allow you to manage access, and you can see here who it has been shared with and if it's been shared through a link or it's been shared by assigning direct access to individuals. So here it's been shared with direct access to 2 other individuals. And then I believe if I hit share here, I'm not quite sure if I can manage access from, yeah, okay. So I can absolutely manage access directly from within the Windows Explorer view. I do not have to go online. So how you actually view that is you right click to share, and you have to be very careful to do share, not give access to. This is the traditional method. Sharing with the OneDrive icon is how you get this share link to pop up. Click the 3 dots, hit manage access, and you can see here I can remove people who are not owners of the file. And then likewise, just to kind of drive the point home, you can see here I have OneDrive SoftwareMedia.com, OneDrive Total Cloud IT. These are my personal OneDrive libraries within SharePoint for my organization. This organization building where it says SoftwareMedia.com and Total Cloud IT, these are actually synced from SharePoint team sites or SharePoint communication sites with document libraries within them. So I am not limited to only synchronizing my OneDrive for my personal OneDrive. I can synchronize any team sites that I have out there. So let me open here, go to Office, pop into SharePoint, and we'll go ahead and look at Total Cloud IT, look at our documents. And then let's say I want to synchronize the content from continuous education. So let's go back to Explorer under Total Cloud IT. Oh, I'm synchronizing everything from this site. However, I can synchronize just an individual subfolder within documents. So I can click on continuous education, hit synchronize, opens with OneDrive. And now going back to Explorer, it may not like this simply because I already have it synchronized under another folder. Live demos, gotta love them. We'll go ahead and use a different team site then. Plenty of them to pick from. Don't believe I have marketing. Right. So here we have our marketing site. You can see Jasmine's made it very beautiful. I want to synchronize the documents from this site. And I can just simply hit synchronize here, or I can synchronize a specific. So let's just say I want Total Cloud IT marketing content, hit synchronize, allow OneDrive to open. Now I can see marketing, Total Cloud IT marketing is now synchronized, and I can access it. And likewise, my files on demand work just the same with a SharePoint team site and document library, just as they did with a file within my own personal OneDrive. And then with that, that concludes our demo section. Thank you for attending the webinar.
Well, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to join this live event. We hope it was informational and will help you increase your business productivity. And our next month's webinar will be focused on Azure and backup recovery. So stay tuned for more information. We hope to see you there, and we hope you all have a great rest of your day.